Have you ever started your day by reaching for that little bottle of vitamins, thinking, "I'm doing something good for myself today"? If you have, you're certainly not alone. For many of us over 60, taking a daily supplement has become a trusted part of our routine, like morning coffee or brushing our teeth. After all, we've been told for years that vitamins keep us strong, sharp, and youthful. But what if I told you that some of the most popular vitamins, yes, the very ones lining your medicine cabinet, could actually be working against you? It might sound surprising, even unsettling, but it's true. There are 3 specific vitamins that, when taken unnecessarily or in excess, may be silently weakening your legs, disrupting your balance, and even putting your independence at risk. Not tomorrow, not next year, but gradually, over time, often so slowly you wouldn't even realize it until a fall, a fracture, or the growing difficulty of something as simple as standing from a chair. Let me ask you something personal. Have you noticed that it's a little harder to move the way you used to? That climbing stairs feels more like a chore? Or maybe you've switched to using the elevator, just in case. If so, you might chalk it up to aging. Most people do, but what if the cause isn't aging at all? What if it's that daily vitamin you've been faithfully taking, without ever thinking it could be doing harm? Today, we're going to shine a light on 3 of the most common supplements taken by older adults: vitamin E, vitamin A, and vitamin B6. They're often marketed with promises of energy, heart support, sharper thinking, and graceful aging. But behind the glossy labels and glowing claims lies a deeper truth. Your body at 70 doesn't work the same as it did at 30. The way we absorb, store, and process nutrients changes with age. And when certain vitamins build up too much in the body, they don't make us stronger. They can actually chip away at the very muscles, bones, and nerves that keep us upright and independent. This isn't about fear. It's about awareness. Because once you know the risks, you're empowered to make safer, smarter choices that support the strong, active life you still want to live. So stay with me. Over the next few minutes, we're going to explore how these 3 vitamins, ones you've likely trusted for years, could be quietly causing more harm than good. And more importantly, I'll show you what you can do about it, because it's never too late to take back control of your health. Let's start with one of the most praised and widely used supplements, vitamin E. If you're like many older adults, you've probably heard that vitamin E is good for the heart. Maybe someone told you it supports healthy skin or helps fight aging. And yes, it's been marketed for decades as a kind of miracle nutrient, one that promises vitality and longevity. So it's no wonder many people over 60 take it every single day, believing it's a simple way to stay strong and youthful. But here's what most people don't know. Vitamin E is fat-soluble. That means, unlike vitamin C or B vitamins, which your body can flush out through urine, vitamin E doesn't leave your system so easily. Instead, it's stored in your liver and fat tissues, accumulating quietly, day after day. And that's where the trouble begins. When you take too much, especially more than 400 IU per day, which is common in many over-the-counter supplements, vitamin E can begin to interfere with your body's muscle function. At first, the changes are easy to overlook. Maybe you feel a little more tired walking through the grocery store. Maybe it takes a bit more effort to rise from your favorite chair. You might feel a slight wobble when you turn too quickly or climb the stairs. These moments are so subtle, they're often mistaken for just getting older. But the truth? They could be signs that your muscle coordination and strength are being compromised, especially in the legs, hips, and knees. Over time, this gradual weakening can become serious, pushing you toward a cane, a walker, or in some cases, a chair you rarely get out of. But it doesn't stop there. High levels of vitamin E also act as a natural blood thinner. And for older adults, especially those already on blood-thinning medications, this can be dangerous. It raises your risk of internal bleeding, bruising, and fall-related injuries that take longer to heal or don't heal at all. Imagine stumbling, only to find your legs can't catch you, or bruising easily and not knowing why. These aren't random incidents. They could be the result of one small pill you've taken for years without ever questioning. And perhaps the most concerning part of all, there are no warning signs on the label, no flashing red lights. These changes happen slowly, quietly, and too often, we just assume it's part of aging, but it doesn't have to be. That's why we're having this conversation, not to create fear, but to open your eyes. Because what works for a 30-year-old body doesn't always work for someone in their 60s, 70s, or beyond. And if you've been taking vitamin E out of habit, especially without a doctor's recommendation, it might be time to pause and ask, is this really helping me? Or could it be quietly holding me back? In the next part of our journey, we'll talk about another common vitamin you probably trust, one that's known for helping your vision and immune system, but could actually be weakening your bones. Stick with me. You're about to discover something even more surprising. Now let's talk about another vitamin that seems almost too familiar to question. Vitamin A. It's long been celebrated for its role in eye health, immune support, and keeping our skin looking healthy. And for many older adults, it feels like a natural part of growing older gracefully. You'll find it in cod liver oil, multivitamins, and many fortified foods. It's one of those nutrients we've been taught to trust. But here's something you might not know. Vitamin A is also fat-soluble. Just like vitamin E, WHICH means once it enters your body, it doesn't simply pass through. It gets stored in your liver and soft tissues, building up silently over time, especially if you're taking it daily without monitoring how much. And when those levels climb too high, vitamin A can go from helpful to harmful, one of the most serious risks. Bone density loss. Studies have linked high levels of vitamin A to accelerated thinning of the bones, especially in the legs and hips, the very structures that keep us balanced and mobile. It might start with subtle signs, your legs feeling a little shakier, stairs becoming more intimidating, or a lingering ache in your hips or thighs. You might even think, I guess I'm just slowing down. But what if it's not aging at all? What if that healthy supplement you take with breakfast is actually making your bones more fragile and your muscles weaker? Excess vitamin A doesn't just affect the skeleton, it can also weaken the muscles that support your legs, leading to fatigue, loss of strength, and increased vulnerability to falls. And here's the tricky part. Vitamin A toxicity doesn't scream. It whispers. It doesn't arrive with dramatic symptoms. Instead, it slowly reshapes your lifestyle. You sit more often. You start avoiding walks or outings you used to enjoy. You tell yourself you're just being careful, when really, your body is losing strength. It chips away at your confidence, limits your freedom, and redefines what your days look like, often without you realizing it's happening. And yet, most people never suspect that the vitamin they trust is the one quietly causing the change. That's why it's so important to remember this. No supplement is truly harmless, not even the ones we think of as essentials. Especially after 60, our bodies change. We process nutrients differently. Our bones are more delicate, our muscles recover more slowly, and the margin for error becomes smaller. That's why it's worth asking, have you checked how much vitamin A you're actually getting? From your multivitamin, your diet, even that healthy spoonful of cod liver oil. Because sometimes doing less is actually doing more for your bones, your balance, and your independence. And in the next part of our journey, we'll meet a vitamin that's even more surprising. One that promises energy and mental clarity, but could be damaging the very nerves that help you walk. Stay with me. You don't want to miss this. Let's talk about a vitamin you've probably heard a lot about, especially in products claiming to boost energy, support brain health, or sharpen memory. Vitamin B6. It's in multivitamins, brain supplements, And even those little energy-boosting drinks that promise to keep you mentally sharp as you age. And the marketing? It's convincing. It tells you this vitamin will keep you alert, active, and independent. But what it doesn't tell you is that vitamin B6, when taken in high doses over 100 milligrams a day, can actually cause nerve damage. And not just any nerve damage, the kind that starts quietly, but can change your life in a big way. At first, it's just a tingling sensation, a weird numbness in your toes. Maybe your foot feels asleep more often than usual. Then it progresses. Your steps don't feel as sure. You might stumble more. The floor doesn't feel quite right under your feet. You begin to question your balance. You find yourself moving more slowly, more cautiously. Some people describe it as feeling like their legs are no longer theirs, like their body is betraying them. This condition is called peripheral neuropathy, and it can develop gradually. But the damage? It's often irreversible, even after you stop taking the supplement. That's the heartbreaking part. Vitamin B6 is water-soluble. Yes, but in high doses over time, it behaves very differently. It builds up in your system and disrupts nerve signaling, especially in your legs and feet. This leads to more than just a physical problem. When you lose your balance, you lose confidence. You might stop taking walks, avoid stairs, or start skipping social events just in case. You become more isolated. You do less, move less, live less. And all the while you wonder, is this just aging or something worse? But now you know it might not be age. It might be that trusted supplement you've been taking every day with breakfast. And you're not alone. Many older adults are experiencing these symptoms but never suspect their vitamin. After all, how could something sold for energy and clarity end up stealing your steadiness? It's a quiet danger, but it's real. And it doesn't just impact your legs. It affects your independence, your sense of safety, even your self-worth. That's why awareness matters, because now that you know, you can ask better questions. You can check the label. You can talk to your doctor and find out whether your supplement is helping or harming. Because the truth is, there's still time to protect what matters most. In the next part of our journey, we'll talk about what you can do with this knowledge, how to move forward with strength, clarity, and control over your health. You've come this far. Don't stop now. By now, you've heard about the hidden risks of vitamins E, and B6, but let's take a step back and look at the bigger picture. Because the truth is, these risks don't start with a pill. They often start with good intentions. Most people don't take supplements to be reckless. They take them because they care, because they want to stay sharp, stay strong, stay active. You're trying to do the right thing for your body, and that's admirable. But without the right information, even good intentions can lead us down the wrong path. You see, oversupplementation is rarely an act of neglect. It's usually an act of habit, a well-meaning routine that becomes so automatic, we stop questioning whether it's still serving us. Have you noticed any of these signs lately? Choosing the elevator over the stairs, even when you didn't used to, holding the railing a little tighter, skipping the evening walk because your legs feel just a little off. These might seem small, insignificant even, but in truth, can be signals. Quiet whispers from your body, telling you something's changed. And when those whispers go unheard, they can snowball into something more serious, because weakness leads to inactivity, and inactivity, it doesn't just make life smaller, it makes it more dangerous. It increases your risk of falls. It thins your bones. It shrinks your muscles. And slowly but surely, it chips away at your independence. The worst part? These changes often don't come from illness. They don't come from a diagnosis or a disease. They come from everyday decisions like taking a supplement without guidance, believing that more is always better, or never thinking to ask, is this still right for me? And it's not your fault. No one told you that vitamin A could thin your bones. No one explained how vitamin E might weaken your muscles. And very few people even know that too much vitamin B6 can damage nerves permanently. But now you do know. And that knowledge, that awareness, it's powerful. Because it means you can do something about it. You can pause, reflect, ask new questions, make better choices. You can take back the control that so many people slowly give away as they age, not because they have to, but because they didn't realize they had a choice. In the next section, I'll show you how to move forward, how to use what you now know to protect your strength, your confidence, and the independence you've worked a lifetime to maintain. It starts with a conversation. With yourself, with your doctor, and with the part of you that still wants to live fully and freely. Let's keep going. You're on the right path. You've taken in a lot of information so far. And if your first instinct is to feel overwhelmed, or maybe even a little anxious, let me stop you right there. Don't panic, because this isn't about guilt or regret. This is about awareness. And awareness is power. Now that you know how certain vitamins might be affecting your strength, your balance, and your independence, the next step is simple but important. Reassess your supplement habits. Start by asking yourself a few honest questions. Have I ever really looked at the dosage on this bottle? Do I still need this supplement, or did I start taking it years ago and never stopped? Am I taking more than one product that might be doubling up on the same vitamins? These questions matter, because often, the labels on our supplements don't tell the whole story. For energy, for heart health, supports memory. Sounds great, but is it right for your body right now? That's why it's so important to talk to a physician who understands the aging body, a doctor who won't just say, take this, but will look at your entire picture, your age, your medications, your diet, your goals. And when you do have that conversation, ask for something very specific, a complete nutrient panel, not just your blood pressure, not just your cholesterol, but a deeper look. How much vitamin A, E, B6 is in your system right now? Are your levels too high, too low, just right? Because numbers don't lie. They can show you what your body actually needs and what it doesn't. But there's something else, even more powerful, you can do starting today. Eat real food, lean proteins, whole grains, fresh vegetables, healthy fats like olive oil and nuts. These aren't just better for you, they're what your body was built to thrive on. Food is where nature puts vitamins in perfect balance, not too much, not too little. Supplements can play a role, but they should supplement, not replace. Foundation of healthy, intentional eating. And remember, this isn't about chasing perfection. It's about making smarter decisions now while you still have the strength to make them, because what you do today determines how strong, how steady, and how free you'll feel tomorrow. So take this knowledge as a gift. Let it guide you. Let it remind you that you are still in control of your body, your choices, and your future. And in our next section, we'll explore one more silent threat to leg strength that goes beyond vitamins, a daily habit that almost everyone overlooks, but one that can do more harm than most pills ever could. Stay with me. You're about to uncover the final piece of this puzzle. As we close this conversation, I want to leave you with something more than facts and advice. I want to share with you a piece of wisdom, one that comes not from a doctor or a textbook, but from someone who has lived a long, full life. It's this: the greatest danger we face as we age isn't the aging itself. It's the belief that decline is inevitable. That idea that we are destined to grow weaker, slower, more fragile with every passing year is the real enemy. Because once we accept it as truth, we stop listening to our bodies. We stop questioning habits. We stop trying. But the truth is, you still have power. You have the power to be aware of the subtle changes, like that extra push it takes to rise from a chair, the quiet hesitation before stepping off a curb, or the feeling that your legs aren't quite as steady as they used to be. You have the power to reevaluate old routines, the supplements you've been taking for years, the daily habits you assumed were helping. but may not be anymore. And more importantly, you have the power to embrace aging, not with fear, but with strength, clarity, and purpose. Because aging is not surrender. Aging is a transition, a chance to live differently, more wisely, and more intentionally. Yes, your body may have changed. You might move a bit slower, rest more often, or carry a few extra aches. But that doesn't mean you've lost your value, your independence, or your voice. In fact, you're more equipped now than ever before. You've lived through hardship. You've adapted to change. You've made mistakes and learned from them. And now with this knowledge, you can protect what matters most: your legs, your balance, your freedom. So don't let fear guide you. Let awareness guide you. Pay attention to the little things. Ask the questions others forget to ask. Trust your instincts. And above all, believe this: you are not too old. It is not too late. And you are still in control. Let this be your reminder that you don't need more pills, more promises, or more pressure. What you need is already within you: the wisdom to notice, the courage to change, and the desire to keep living life on your terms. So walk forward with strength, with steadiness, and with pride in the path you've taken, and the one still ahead. Now that you've heard the full story, I want to ask you one simple question. What's one thing you've learned today that you want to carry forward in your own life? Maybe it's a change you're ready to make. Maybe it's a habit you'll finally question. Or maybe it's just a reminder that you're still in control of your future. Take a moment, pause, reflect, and when you're ready, I'd love for you to share it in the comments below. Not just for yourself, but for someone else who might be watching. Because your insight could be exactly what another person needs to hear today. If this message resonated with you, please consider clicking like, subscribing to our channel, and sharing this video with a friend or loved one. This channel isn't just about information, it's about community. A space for thoughtful conversations, real support, and choices that help us thrive, not just survive as we grow older. You've come this far. You're listening, learning, and staying curious. That alone makes you powerful. And we're honored to walk this journey with you.